So we've got this supposed retirement by Tyson Fury. Supposed because most people don't believe that he's actually going to stay retired. They anticipate that he will come back. Some say sooner rather than later. Now, one thing I do want to mention, one possibility I want to throw out there, and don't take this the wrong way, but I hope this possibility is true rather than the other possibility. So I made a couple recent videos where I said that Tyson Fury appears to be using the Mayweather method, the old Floyd Mayweather tactic of retiring conveniently when there was lots of competition to face in the division, waiting for these guys to beat each other up and certain guys to, do whatever, retire, get damaged in fights, all this kind of stuff. And then when there's one guy left on the scene who most people are focusing on, then come back and fight him. This is what Mayweather was doing. This is Mayweather's way of avoiding having to fight everybody. Very clever from a marketing perspective in fooling the fans into thinking that he cleaned out a division which he never actually cleaned out. And giving an excuse that his fans would latch onto and the casual would latch onto, that they would accept for not fighting everybody. Oh, he doesn't need to fight that guy. He lost to so-and-so. Oh, he doesn't need to fight. He lost to so. And I went through in that video why this is a bogus thing to do. Yeah. I used the example of Sonny Liston. Why should he fight? Imagine if Liston had said, why should I fight this Muhammad Ali guy? Or Cassius Clay as he was then. He just got dropped by Henry Cooper. Don't need to fight him. This is what Mayweather was doing. Yeah. If Liston had done what Mayweather had done, he would have come in, bashed up Patterson, then retired. And then waited for people to bash each other up and Ali to go to prison. Then he'd come out and fight. Oh, well, let me fight. But what was Ali's sparring partner called? Jimmy Ellis. Yeah? Was it Jimmy? Yeah, was it Jimmy Ellis? Yeah, it was Jimmy Ellis, wasn't it? Yeah, let me fight Jimmy Ellis for the whatever he had. Was it WBC or WBA? Yeah, I'm going to fight him. Bang. Beats him up. Back into retirement. This is what Mayweather was doing, bro. And so, and I could use another example. Let's say George Foreman wanted to use the Mayweather method. I'm not going to fight this Ali guy. He already lost to people that I wiped out in 2 rounds. He lost to Ken Norton. He lost to Frazier. I destroyed those guys. And you want me to fight Ali? Come on. It's not even competitive. I'm going to retire. Let these guys bash each other up. I'll come back in a few years' time and I'll fight Leon Spinks. He just beat Ali, right? Imagine Ali managed to get the title for some other means other than fighting Foreman because he retired, right? Fights Spinks, loses to Spinks. Foreman comes back and fights Leon Spinks. It's literally what Mayweather was doing. So I was concerned, and still I'm concerned, that Tyson Fury is going to try to go down the same road because he has been using the Mayweather method in the past to some extent. Not so much with the retirements, because when Tyson Fury was away from the sport, it wasn't by choice. It was because there was a big fallout with the drug tests and UCAD and the legal situation and all that. It wasn't by his own, I was going to say by his own design. You could say it was by his own design, but, or at least it was his fault. You could say that, okay? But it's not what he wanted. He didn't want to be exiled from boxing. Whereas Mayweather, when he retired, did. So, yeah, Fury's been away from the sport before, but it's the way he has picked opponents and the way he's marketed himself as the lineal champion and acted like the belts don't matter and all this kind of thing. And this is a very problematic road to go down from a fan perspective, because when you're just lineal and you don't actually have any sanctioning body that calls you their champion, then you don't have to fight mandatories. You don't have anybody forced upon you. So you could just cherry pick any old jokers and call it a title fight, like George Foreman was doing in the 90s after he beat Michael Moorer. So anyway, long preamble, but the point I wanted to make is I was thinking about this myself. And then somebody in my Element group also mentioned it and we had a discussion about it. Shout out to Clear Score. And it's the possibility that Fury's retirement has something to do with this MTK situation. Perhaps Fury is being investigated. Perhaps he can't fight in the States currently. Maybe retiring will prevent the investigation from prying on some of Tyson Fury's financial affairs. I don't know. It's all speculation. Now, I don't want Tyson Fury to get dragged down into any kind of criminal thing or anything like that at all. I want to see Tyson Fury continue fighting. But if it's that, if his retirement is to do with that situation rather than him using the Mayweather method, that's preferable to me, as long as he doesn't go down for anything, right? That's preferable to me because it means that he does actually want to get back in the ring and he does actually want to fight the Usyks and the AJs and all these kind of people. But he potentially is just trying to protect himself legally or whatever. Yeah. I hope that that's the case. Yeah. And that he's not trying to mess the public around and play games and do all this Mayweather stuff. Anyway, with that being said, Anthony Joshua's come out and said that he thinks he can coax Tyson Fury out of retirement, and also says he's going for the knockout in the Usyk rematch. We won't really talk about him saying he's going for the knockout in the Usyk rematch because you'd expect him to say that. But as far as coaxing Tyson Fury out of retirement, he says if Fury in the boxing arena was to come out of retirement and honor the gentleman's agreement, AJ talks in such a weird way. Is he trying to like encode certain things in his language? Is AJ a member of his local lodge or something and he's masterfully speaking? And I don't know what he's up to, AJ here. But he uses weird language. The way he talks is just odd. The word selection, the sentence structure is just very odd. And it has been for a long time. Anyway, he says, was he to come out of retirement and honor the gentleman's agreement? There's a lot of money to be made. First and foremost, I have a pound-for-pound fighter in Usyk on my list, who's a tough competitor for sure. People say I only focus on what's in front of me, which is a good way to be, but also I want to look at what the bigger picture holds so I can steamroll through. I have to, so I can get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Look, we all use metaphors, some more so than others. But AJ's metaphors are just so odd. It don't seem to link when he puts these different metaphors. It's just really strange the way he talks. Anyway, he says, so for sure, I feel like retirement doesn't mean that you've completely given up and you're on the beach clicking your phone, drinking a bottle of, well, I won't even say that word because of the YouTube algorithm. He says, I feel he's still ticking over and he'll come back if the right fight is presented to him. Well, I certainly hope so. I think Tyson Fury is a fantastic fighter. And I think there's still work to be done in the heavyweight division to establish who is undisputed, who is absolutely the best. When you got a guy who is undefeated, a former undisputed champion at cruiserweight, just beat AJ comfortably on the cards, how could you call yourself the best in the division when that guy's still around? You know, that doesn't sit right with me. You need to fight that guy. Particularly if he manages to beat AJ again, then you really need to fight that guy. So I hope that it isn't Fury messing the public around. I hope it's just him being savvy. Wait until this whole situation blows over and the investigation's all done. And, you know, hopefully that's sooner rather than later. So then Tyson Fury later on this year can say, okay, coming out of retirement again, and now I'm going to face the winner of AJ Usyk 2 for the undisputed. So that's what I'm hoping for. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you're tired of the biased narratives and mass censorship on mainstream platforms, and you want to be part of a community of critical thinkers who love free speech just as much as you do, then come and join me on Patreon and access my weekly no-holds-barred, censorship-free podcast where we lift the lid on a wide variety of controversial topics. It's not mainstream friendly, it's not politically correct, but that's the whole point. We dare to stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. Just head on over to my Patreon page and select the tier called Hatman Hot Topics. You'll gain access to a minimum of 2 hours of exclusive content every single week, including podcasts, videos, interviews, live stream Q&As, as well as my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. Not to mention a vast back catalog of hundreds of hours of previous episodes. You can listen via the Patreon app with the option to download in high quality MP3. We've also got an Element group where you can come and chat and hang out with myself and other members. Unlike Discord, it has full end-to-end encryption, is decentralized, and it's 100% censorship free. You can also send voice notes as well as much larger audio and video files than you can on Discord. So come and sign up on Patreon. There's no contract, there's no commitment. You can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a cup of coffee. So I'll see you over there. I'm out.